think I probably still stand where I stood before. If it makes sense in a community and the community is supportive of it, it needs to be a community decision. I don't think as a General Assembly we should be making and mandating school consolidation. It totally needs to be in the hands of the community. And I still support Linda Chapalovia's bill to have a commission to study consolidation and make recommendations. But at that point, it needs to go to the communities and they need to make those decisions. I'm a huge supporter of shared services. The school in which I was school board president in Morris, we share services with the local high school as well as other local elementary schools. It works out great. It saves hundreds of thousands of dollars in our community, and I think that's key. So if consolidation is not an option, and I understand that a lot of communities don't want to do that, it may not be feasible to do that, but it is feasible maybe to consolidate, to share services, and I think that's important for people to look at that instead of being adversarial maybe within different schools. Instead, look to each other on how we can share services.
What about Representative Eddy's concern that schools are already doing that and some schools just can't do it?
Totally get it. I can't remember which speaker said it, but he said it best, is it's not a one-size-fits-all. In some districts it's going to make a lot of sense, and in other districts it's just not conceivable because there's a lot of space in between and it just won't make sense to do it. So like in our district, we're all close. The 3 schools are probably within 5 miles of each other, and they can share services for transportation, share services for grounds directors, we can share services for curriculum director, share services for energy, for paper. I mean, we just share services in many different ways. And the schools that are more spread out, it just might not make sense. It's not a one-size-fits-all, that's for sure.
So what can the schools that can't share services do then to cut back or help save the state some money?
They'll just have to look real hard at their budget and see, where there is excess, where maybe they don't need to be spending this year. And I would really, for instance, K-8 districts that feed into a high school, there's probably some sharing of services that could be done there in terms of, aligning a curriculum, or if they're somewhat close, they could maybe share a director for maintenance between the 2 buildings. So I think there's always room somewhere that we could share.
What about ROEs? What are your thoughts about those?
I'm going to be honest, initially I wondered what they did too, and I then did my research to find out what exactly it is, had many conversations. They're a critical piece to this puzzle, and everybody talks about consolidation or shared services or teacher certification or truancy programs. They are the people that provide this. So for our truants that get expelled from school and they go to these academies for these kids that are kicked out of school, where would those kids go if we don't have the Regional Office of Education? And I think the answer is some of them we could see in juvenile justice system or adult prisons, and we don't want that. So I think they provide a critical piece to the puzzle. Unfortunately, because they are considered just regional, people really don't understand what they do. And I think if you take the time to see what it is what services they provide, they're critical to this whole process.
So what about, what's your response to the governor who says, this is a way to save the state some money?
I understand the governors need to save money, and trust me, being an accountant, I understand that we need to save money. But I don't think that that's the right place. And I think that Dr. Cook said it best today, is there are probably other places that we could maybe save money.